We didn't know that when we were coming over, and had we known that, we might have maybe pushed our trip back from coming to Bali. Welcome back to another video. I'm Mandy and that's Lloyd, and we're digital nomads that currently live in Bali, Indonesia.
In this video we're going to be sharing with you what it's like living in Bali in 2022. So we've been getting a lot of questions from subscribers either in the comments or on our Instagram DMs just about what it's like in Bali right now. So we thought we'd go through just a few things and answer a few questions to let you guys know what it is actually like living in Bali in 2022. I guess during the pandemic's still going.
Yeah. So Lloyd and I decided to move here because we wanted to start living the digital nomad life. Originally we thought we were going to just move to Canggu and live with amongst all the other digital nomads, and that's not exactly what ended up happening. We've actually been moving around all around Bali now, so we've got a pretty good idea of what's been happening in each area and which ones are our favorites and which ones we'd recommend to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of being a digital nomad is moving around.
Yeah.
and we're not actually living in Bali permanently. We've been here for 2 months. We'll probably be here maybe a couple more months, but there's other places we want to go this year as well. We've made a big list of destinations we want to go to after Bali. After 2 months of being here, I'd say we have a pretty good idea of what it's like living here. From our perspective, it's definitely safe. I feel more safe here than I have traveling in a lot of other countries, including in Australia and the United States. There doesn't seem to be a lot of crime, but
the people are so beautiful. Like, everyone's very kind, and if you smile at them, they always smile back. I haven't really had a situation yet that I've felt unsafe.
No, but having said that, I've seen on a few of the Facebook groups, like Canggu community groups and expat groups, people reporting thefts and robberies. So mainly like people maybe on the back of a scooter with the phone in their hand and getting it snatched at night. I mean, that would happen anywhere, in any country in the world.
And you do have to keep in mind that COVID has had a pretty tragic effect on everywhere, and times are a little bit more desperate for everyone. So just to be more aware, you know, if you're on the scooter, keep your phone away, and I guess not flaunting like cameras and that sort of thing. It's kind of just common sense in my opinion.
Yeah, and as far as like security, like I mean, every hotel we've stayed at or guest house, there's been 24-hour security at the front desk as
always
well.
Someone looking out.
We've always felt pretty safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Half the day is usually sunny and the other half sort of it rains, but we like it. We like the rain. We like sitting under cover and being in it. We have got caught a couple times. If you've seen some of our previous vlogs, we have been caught in the rain a few times. I don't know, it doesn't
if
really
you're somebody who
affect
hates
us
rain,
too
I
bad.
guess
you
probably wouldn't enjoy it, but
it just gives you more of that sort of tropical vibe, so we enjoy it.
And there is still days where it's sunny for majority of the day. We've gotten a lot of sun the last week.
Yeah, we've had really good luck, especially here in the north.
Yeah, maybe if you're a surfer, somebody who surfs a lot and the wet season isn't ideal for you, maybe that would affect you, but it's pretty good otherwise.
Seems to be a little bit different in every area that we've been to. When we started in Canggu, it was a little bit more pricey. I was actually a little bit surprised with some of the places were reflecting Australian prices. But then when we moved out to Ubud, we found amazing restaurants, really affordable accommodations. So I think it just depends on the area and what you're coming here for. You can definitely get an affordable meal at a local warung, or you know, stay at a guest house for a more affordable place to stay. It does depend on which area you decide to stay in Bali as well.
To give you an idea, like we've been able to find accommodation for about $15 US a night, and it's really good accommodation.
Yeah.
And generally when we go out for a meal, we'll spend about $10 US between the two of us. And that's at a locally owned warung, which does really good food. I think with Bali, you can spend as much as you want to spend. Like, you could go out every night and easily be spending the same amount you'd be spending in Australia or Canada or America.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Western restaurants that sort of charge expensive prices. If you're here to save money, like you can go out and, as I said, eat for what, $10 between two people.
Yeah, we personally do like a mix of both sometimes. We did come to Bali to experience Bali, which I'd highly recommend doing because Indonesian food is great if you're willing to expand and try new things. The food's amazing and it's super affordable, so I'd highly recommend trying something other than what you're used to back home.
As far as other bills or costs go, our phones, we pay about $5 US and get 15 gig of data.
Yeah.
Which there's Wi-Fi everywhere, so that lasts us the whole month. And then to fill up our scooter, which is an NMAX scooter, which is the biggest scooter you have, it costs about $3 US. If we're not doing big trips, that'll last us a whole month, but we've been driving around a lot lately and it still lasts about 2 weeks. So the scooter rental for the month is about $80 US, which is pretty standard price. The only thing that isn't that cheap is if you want to shop at like your regular big brand clothing shops. Like we went to the outlets the other day, everything's pretty much the same price as it was back home.
Yeah.
That's like Quicksilver, Rip Curl, Volcom,
Billabong.
Yeah, like pretty similar prices.
Yeah.
The food is probably number one.
Yeah.
Like we've eaten so much good food since we've been here, and we go out for every meal and every meal is different. It's been amazing. I would also say the people, their spirit is just so good. There's so much to do. There's so many tours, activities, places to see. Like we kind of underestimated the size of Bali and how much there is to do here when we got here.
We were both sort of taken back by how busy, still like heavily populated, I guess I should say, places are.
Yeah, and everywhere you go, there's something to do. And on top of that, like just outside of Bali, you've got all the different islands that you can visit. There's so many places to travel as well. I would also say that there's a lot of like-minded people here, so people who are working online or just interested in travel and adventure here, so that'd probably be one of the best reasons to come here.
The yoga's been absolutely amazing in Bali. I highly recommend coming here if you are a yogi. We spent a lot of time at Yoga Barn in Ubud and we've tried many different yoga studios since we've been here, and it's just every single one's top to the next. So if you're wanting to come to Bali for yoga, I do recommend it. As a whole, we love Bali so far, right?
Yeah.
We've loved living here. There are a few things as Westerners that have been sort of, I guess, hard to get used to. Sort of downsides, I guess, for us, just because we're not used to it. One of them for me being a fair-haired blonde girl. I've definitely noticed the water quality here has been really hard for me to maintain my hair.
Well, it's just different type of water.
It's just different, and because I have very fine hair, it's called hard water, so it's quite intense. So if you are like me, I do recommend getting high quality shampoo and conditioners before you come, because they're also quite expensive here. As well as the water is not safe to drink here, and I myself don't even brush my teeth with the water because when we were sick, it did start to weaken my immune system as well because I was already sick. So I've just decided that I should probably not. Maybe I'm just quite sensitive.
Yeah, and also sort of a little bit harder to find certain products in stores that you might be used to back home, like luxuries.
Yeah.
I mean, like bathroom products, even just certain foods and fruits in the supermarkets. You might be expecting to just find everything that you can back home, but
no,
you get used to it. But that's probably the only other real downside, I would say.
Yeah. So if I was to give anyone recommendations on things to purchase or invest in before coming over, number one would be a really good rain jacket. You're gonna use it all the time. We have ours with us flat out. We use it pretty much every day. Bring sunscreen because it is quite expensive here. When you get here, get the Sofel brand mosquito repellent. We didn't do that. I was using just a natural Australian made mosquito spray, and it was not strong enough and it did not protect us from dengue fever, and we got that in the first week of us arriving in Bali, so I'd highly recommend doing that as well. And for ladies, it's quite hard to find feminine products here. I don't know if it's just been the stores that I've went into, but they are very expensive and hard to find good quality ones, so make sure you stock up on them before coming.
it's really good. You can go, if you want, to any cafe with Wi-Fi.
They all pretty much have Wi-Fi as well. It's not hard to come by Wi-Fi here.
But ourselves, we don't tend to prefer to do that. We like to have somewhere where we can actually sit and work all day without it being like in a public setting where there's food being ordered and stuff.
Yeah,
so we spent like about 5 weeks at Outpost co-working in Ubud. There's an outpost in Canggu as well, and there's a bunch of other co-working places around Bali, but
that was our favorite. There's
so many digital nomads and people working online, entrepreneurs here. Yeah, it's really easy to do. There's internet everywhere you go. I would say you can definitely tell that there's not as many tourists around. Whenever you go to a restaurant, it's pretty quiet. Canggu was probably the exception. There seems to be a lot more people in Canggu. There's a lot of local tourists from Indonesia traveling at the moment, not many internationals. No, you can definitely tell that we're in the middle of a pandemic, because it's actually kind of sad when we're in Ubud and Sanur as well, like walking past a lot of these restaurants and there's, you know, staff members standing out the front and there's just nobody in them, which kind of sucks.
It definitely puts into perspective how busy Bali usually is. The fact that there is so many businesses that are just standing around at the moment really shows how many people there usually are compared to what there is now. On the flip side, if you do want to go to any touristy destinations, right now has been pretty amazing. We've got to hike Mount Batur. We were the only ones at the top for a long time. We weren't fighting for a view or a picture or anything with any other tourists. We were the only ones in the Tagalalong rice terraces by ourselves. Just things like that. You get to experience them completely differently than you would in peak tourist season.
But having said that, the vibe of the local, amazing. Like, they're so happy to see any tourists. And we've really enjoyed going around to different restaurants and warongs and sort of spreading our money around a little bit and enjoying all these locally owned places. The pandemic hasn't really ruined the vibe of the locals, I would say.
No, their spirits are still beautiful and they're very welcoming, and it's been really nice having that quality time to sit down with the owner of a business and have some quality time with them. So this last bit that we just wanted to note, we don't want to scare anyone away from coming to Bali, but at the moment visa agents are advertising that there is a 7-day quarantine to come into Bali. So if you are planning to come to Bali during this quarantine time, we do recommend speaking with your quarantine hotel, as if you do test positive for COVID during your hotel quarantine, you do not get to stay in that hotel. You get transferred either to an isolation facility, which is like a hospital, and the conditions don't sound that amazing. And if you are the only one in your group who tests positive for COVID, you will be separated from them.
Well, that's currently.
And that's just the current situation. So we just wanted to be transparent with that, because we didn't know that when we were coming over. And had we known that, we might have maybe pushed our trip back from coming to Bali. But that's just a preference thing. I wouldn't like to be separated from Lloyd, because he's sort of the brains of our travel operation, and it's sort of scary, I guess, if you were unaware that that was happening. They aren't very upfront with telling you that that's how it works, because in Western countries we just get to stay in the quarantine hotel if you test positive until you test negative, but that's not the case here. So we just wanted to let everyone know that.
I would just suggest doing your own research. So jump onto the Indonesian government website to see what the procedure is, because it does change as well.
Yeah.
And I know on some of the quarantine hotel websites it does say if you receive a positive test you will be moved to a different facility or a different accommodation. But just do your own research and don't take someone else's word for it. Don't even take our word for it.
No.
Just make sure you have a look before you come over and you're prepared for what may happen. That's all I'd say. And
inquire with your quarantine hotel and confirm with them what happens if you test positive before you book it. Highly recommend doing that.
And that applies for if you test positive when you get off the plane, when you check into the hotel, or if you test positive on your last day of quarantine. So either way.
Anyway guys, we hope this video has helped you in some way. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.